In October 1891, while London was still terrified by the unsolved Jack the Ripper murders of 3 years earlier, a Scottish-Canadian doctor arrived in Lambeth, South London, and immediately began poisoning women. He did not hide. He did not flee. He wrote letters to the police accusing other people of his own murders. He sent blackmail notes to innocent doctors demanding money for crimes he had committed himself. He offered guided tours of his own murder sites to strangers he met in the street. He could not stop. And on the morning of the 15th of November, 1892, as the trapdoor opened beneath him at Newgate Prison, the hangman heard his last words. "I am Jack the..." The noose cut him off before he could finish the sentence. That question has never been answered. This is the true crime story of Dr. Thomas Neill Cream, the Lambeth poisoner, and it is one of the most disturbing dark history cases in Victorian England. Thomas Neill Cream was born in Glasgow, Scotland in 1850. His family emigrated to Canada, and his father built a successful business in Quebec, wealthy enough to send Thomas to McGill University in Montreal to study medicine. He was an excellent student, charming, well-dressed, intelligent, and by the time he qualified as a doctor, he had already left a trail of destruction behind him. He had made a woman pregnant and been marched to the altar at gunpoint by her father. She died within months of the wedding, the cause of death never fully investigated. He performed illegal procedures on women in Canada and fled charges. He moved to Chicago. He began poisoning patients. In 1881 in Illinois, he added strychnine to the medicine of a patient named Daniel Stott, whose wife he was having an affair with. Stott died. The death was ruled as epilepsy. Cream then made his first and most revealing mistake. He wrote to the coroner demanding Stott's body be exhumed, attempting to blame the pharmacist for the strychnine he himself had added. The body was exhumed. The poison was found. Cream was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in Joliet Prison, Illinois. He served 10 years. He was released on good behavior in July 1891. His father had died during his imprisonment, leaving him $16,000. He collected the inheritance, purchased 500 strychnine pills from a drug company in New York, and sailed for England. He arrived in London in October 1891. 2 days after his arrival, he met a 19-year-old woman named Ellen Donworth on Waterloo Road. He offered her a drink from a bottle containing white stuff. She staggered away from him in agony on the street, managed to tell bystanders about the man with the thick mustache and the silk top hat who had given her something to drink, and died before reaching hospital. It was strychnine. 7 days later, a woman named Matilda Clover took Cream back to her lodgings. She was dead by morning. Her death was recorded as alcoholism. Cream had already moved on. What happened next is what makes this true crime documentary case unlike anything else in Victorian criminal history. Cream began writing letters. He wrote to a member of Parliament claiming to know who had murdered Ellen Donworth and offering to sell the information for $300,000. He wrote anonymous blackmail letters to 2 completely innocent London doctors accusing them of murdering Matilda Clover, whose death had not even been ruled a murder. He wrote a letter claiming the murders were the work of Jack the Ripper himself, attempting to redirect the investigation toward the still unsolved Ripper case. Every letter he wrote was a clue. Every accusation pointed back to him, a killer systematically destroying his own alibi with his own pen. In April 1892, he poisoned 2 more women, Alice Marsh and Emma Shrivell, who were found dying together in their Lambeth lodgings, both in agony, both strychnine. By now, a New York detective visiting London had met Cream socially and found him impossible to stop talking about the Lambeth murders. The detective informed Scotland Yard. Cream was placed under surveillance. The letters were traced. Matilda Clover's body was exhumed. Strychnine confirmed. Cream was arrested in June 1892, charged with 4 murders and multiple counts of blackmail and attempted extortion. His trial opened at the Old Bailey in October 1892. The evidence was overwhelming. The strychnine, the letters in his handwriting. A woman named Lou Harvey, who had survived because she pretended to swallow his pills and threw them away, testified in person. Cream was convicted on the 21st of October 1892 and sentenced to death. On the 15th of November 1892, Dr. Thomas Neill Cream was hanged at Newgate Prison. He was 42 years old. The executioner, James Billington, reported his final words on the scaffold as the trapdoor opened beneath him. "I am Jack the..." Whether he was confessing to being Jack the Ripper, which is almost certainly impossible since he was imprisoned in Illinois during the Ripper murders of 1888, or simply performing one final manipulation for an audience, using the most feared name in Victorian England as his exit, nobody knows. It was the last thing he ever said. A man who could not stop talking even when the rope was around his neck. The true crime documentary record of the Lambeth poisoner, preserved in Old Bailey proceedings and Victorian newspaper archives, tells us exactly what Thomas Neill Cream did and exactly how he was caught. What it cannot tell us is why a man intelligent enough to become a doctor, calculating enough to poison people across 2 continents, kept writing letters that destroyed him. This has been Dark Verdict. Every case is real. Every detail is sourced. Every verdict is final. Subscribe for a new true crime documentary case every week, and leave your theory about those last words in the comments below.